you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want to ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
And welcome to the post-game show, Lions and Patriots. This was a disaster. And we got my guy here from Roar of the Lions UK. He is great at hugging. Met him at Thanksgiving Day game at last year. Gave me a massive hug. What is going on, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike. How's things apart from depressing, angry, and crying over here? But I've dried my eyes to come on the show.
Well, you know, this weekend I watched Hellraiser, and it was the new one that came out. And if you don't know, Hellraiser is all about pain and misery, and it's very fitting. Pinhead cannot do worse than what this game did to me. It was a disaster. And folks, we're sitting right now with the second pick in the draft. It was pick 1, then another team lost, and now we're at pick 2. Let's talk about this game. Other people are going to get on. We're going to get King on. Herman Moore is going to get on. Everyone's going to slowly get on. I just want to start early because why the hell not? What do you got? Initial thoughts of this game. Just what do you got, man?
I mean, nothing went right is exactly right. You know, when there were turning points in the game where we could have pulled things out, where in previous games we had pulled things out and we can kind of go, well, okay, we lost, but there are positives from this game. Those things didn't happen either here, which is really frustrating. Obviously, people are going to pick at the fourth downs and the number of fourth downs that didn't go our way. There's only 2 of significance. Once we get behind the 8 ball, I don't mind going for them. And so, you know, getting that record of 0-6 or whatever it is on fourth down, fine. Okay, whatever. But the first one where you go for it in your own territory, it's a marginal decision for me. I like punting, but I understand going for it. You didn't get it. The defense holds them to 3. You live to fight another day. That's actually not gone terribly. The second one is the egregious one for me. I come away thinking that where I hoped the coaching would make progression is not getting there. The players will come and go, but the coaching is here to stay. And if the coaching doesn't get better, I fear for the future of this team.
Grade the coaching in this game, folks. A, B, C, D, or F. Put it in the comment section. What do you think the grade is for this game? I'm giving it a grade F. I guess if we were to go through A through Z, it'd be a Z. This was awful. The going for it was absolute joke. We first went for it on our own. I said, you know what? I don't think the Patriots' offense is as good. I think maybe our defense can slow them down a little bit. So too early to go for it. They went for it, and I wasn't happy about that. The second time, you're 100% correct. It was an absolute S decision to go for it. 4th and 9 that resulted in a fumble 6. I don't know what Dan Campbell, what he thinks, but we do have punters, and it's okay to punt. It's okay to pin your team's back. It is okay. I don't even care if your defense is ranked 32, but to go for it on every single fourth down is utterly ridiculous. 0 for 6 on fourth down. At some point, it's not creative anymore. It is like coaches are going to be able to see what you're doing and stop it. Guess what happened? Matt, they seen what we did, and they stopped it.
Never mind that. Pretty much every single play, without exception, was a halfback dive. Like, if you're going to keep doing it, mix it up. Like, run a play action and put it in Goff's hands. He's actually done okay this season, better than I thought he was capable of. Like, run play action, have the fullback in the flat, take the pass from there. One of them actually was Amon-Ra short of the sticks. Why throw it short of the sticks? Unless it's play action, in which case you're trying to fool them a different way, a quick drop back throw to someone in the flat ain't fooling anyone. Like, that was just bad. And on that particular play, Khalif Raymond was available over the top, completely free on a busted coverage. So not only did they miss out on converting the fourth down, but he missed a touchdown on that play as well. So I mean, everything went badly. There was only one player for me that did well while the game was still alive, and then there's one player for me which did well when the game was already dead. There are only two positives I can take from this game on an individual basis, and other than that, everyone else did badly. I mean, up front we started quite well. Bugs got the sack, but guess what, Derek Barnes? You had to commit the illegal touching downfield or whatever it was. I don't know. You had your hands on the receiver before the ball was thrown. Just don't do it. Those are the sorts of plays that slowly turn the momentum in Patriots' favor. And the thing is, at halftime, this game ain't even done. It's, what was it, 13-0? Like, you're still in this game. At 6-0, it was like, oh, we've played really badly. But a touchdown means we lead this game. Why did we throw it away?
I don't know.
We just gave up.
It was an utter. It was, last week I said it couldn't get any worse. Now we absolutely hit rock bottom. It cannot get worse than this. Matt Patricia's offense scored 29 points on us, and our offense scored 0. There's only one positive I can take away from this game. That was Craig Reynolds. I thought he did a good job running the football and catching. That was my positive. What was your two positives? I got to hear your two positives. I'm surprised you got more than one.
So Craig was the one where the game had gone and he was still getting it done. I was really impressed with him. The other one was while the game was still alive in the first half, and that was Alex Anzalone. He had a really nice pass break up early to stop on a third down. He also had a couple of run stuffs on blitzes from the linebacker position. Once the game was gone, second half, he was cheeks as well. But he did quite well in the first half when things actually mattered. So considering how I regard the quality of his play generally, I thought he did well. But, I mean, I'm really scraping the barrel here. It was not great.
Okay, so we got to talk about Dan Campbell. There's serious questions now. And I know a lot of people say, well, it's just year 2 of the rebuild, man. Come on, man. But, man, I got to say, this was bad. And we're talking about this before we went live. You're talking about, I'm tired of him saying it's on me. It's on me. At some point, it just gets old. I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. What's your take on Dan Campbell right now?
He needs to show progress, and he needs to show it quickly. If you carry on like this, you will lose the fans. The buy-in was so high in the off-season and through Hard Knocks. You had him. If someone had asked me if I thought that Dan Campbell would be a quality play caller this year, or a quality head coach this year, I'd probably say he'd be under average. But I would say I'm expecting that, and I'm expecting him to develop with the team. We're not expecting this team to be a playoff team. What we are expecting is progress and making the most of the team that we have. Now, we did that last year with the defense. I know it was 31st ranked. It should have been worse than that because the personnel was worse than that. We outperformed what happened. On the offense, we outperformed the players that we had as well. It was one of the worst rosters I've ever seen. And the coaching, it was inexperienced, but it was developing. It was getting there. We saw improvement. This year, we're seeing the opposite. Yeah. We are seeing regression. On the offense, we've seen improvement, obviously, before this game. But the defense, even though the personnel's gotten better, the defensive play calling has regressed, the scheming has regressed, and Dan Campbell is stacking bad decisions now. He was making bad decisions last year, but he is now stacking those bad decisions, and you can't do that. You cannot go on tilt as a head coach. You must stay level-headed and not make decisions with emotion. And he is playing emotionally right now. He's played this game. He knows how it feels. And he needs to rein himself in. And if that means one less coffee in the morning, you better do it. You need to calm down and be rational with your decisions.
100%, man. I think he's having some real problems here. And I'm thankfully we got Ant-Man in the building. Ant-Man, initial thoughts of this game. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm stunned, really. I mean, I thought that I was seeing progress from this team. I thought that, there was going to be, this season was going to be better, and they're just, since that Washington game, they're regressing week on week on week. And this is just what feels like rock bottom. We were never in this game. At no point did you have confidence that we were in this game. The offense never got going. The defense did all right, but I mean, it's all right, and it's still not good enough. And the injuries are piling up, and it's just like I don't know. I'm very very disappointed, and I think the anger is starting to seep in a little bit now. The play calling issues are getting old now. Dan Campbell he almost had a free reign last year to be as creative as he wanted to be, and I think that seeped into his play calling this year. We are meant to be a more serious organization this year. We've had a second draft to fix the roster. We're a little bit better, we're a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and quite frankly, we're coming up against some garbage teams, and we're letting them walk all over us, and that should not be happening. As a bare minimum, you should be fighting against these teams and being competitive. To be shut out is downright disgraceful. To not put up any points at all, to be battled every single phase of this game. Our offensive line got abused by one man. There are 3 first-round picks on that offensive line, and it got bullied. It's like, I don't even know where to start. It's disgusting. We've invested so much money into that offensive line to protect our quarterback, to protect our run game, and one guy brings it crashing down. None of this is acceptable.
And man, do you got like 500 tabs up because you're like going? I mean, I hear you great, but you're like,
I know it's a bit of a weird one. Is the audio coming through all right?
Audio's perfect. Audio sounds great, but I feel like I'm in a disco room with Disco Stew, loving disco music. That may be the win of the game so far. The win of the day is Ant-Man. Let's talk about Aaron Glenn. We got 1 punt in this game, Matt. This is unacceptable. 1 punt in the game. 29 points.
So I will say this. If we punted on the 4th down and half yard from the 40 in the first quarter, I believe that defense holds the Patriots to a punt. The fact that we gave them a short field meant it resulted in 3 points. But we made the stop, and the following possession, they got a really long run against us. I think Ramondre Stevenson went for 40. We put ourselves in a bad position, but then they made the stop and held them to a field goal. And, sometimes in this game, there was something very reminiscent of a Matt Patricia defense. So I saw us sitting in zone and the Patriots kind of picking it off a little bit, maybe very angry. But what it did do was keep everything in front of us. And the Patriots didn't really score quickly. A lot of their points came in the second half, and we kept ourselves in the game in the first half. I came away at halftime saying, well, our offense has been awful, but at least our defense has made progress. That's how I came out of the first half thinking. Now, when the game is gone, the game is gone, and I am happy that I didn't see anyone visibly give up. Like, I didn't see anyone shirking a tackle or anything like that, but they still continue to put up points. I thought the defense made a little bit of progress compared to the Seattle game. I mean, nothing could have been worse than that, right?
But the thing is
it wasn't like we have 48 points.
We're talking about the New England Patriot offense that came in the game, was it like 16 points a game or something ridiculous?
Rough.
They put up 29 points on us, and it could have been more. At the end, they're just running the football, which we gave up 165 yards rushing to their backup running back. This defense is bad.
Yeah.
This defense sucks. And where's Aidan Hutchinson? He over-pursued again. The over-pursuing Ant-Man is back. Ant-Man, what is going on with this defense, bro?
Not a lot. Not a lot is going right at all. I mean, the defensive line is still struggling to make plays. I mean, I sort of had this discussion with Matt on the thread when we were doing our live reaction to this. And, I know Aidan's getting double teamed. I know he's getting all this, that, and the other. But he had a one-on-one in that first half where he had Bailey dead to rights, beat his tight end, missed it. When you are a second overall pick in the draft, you might get a lot of attention. You might not get a lot of chance to make plays. But when the opportunity to make a play comes up, you have to take it. That's why a team takes you so high in the draft, to be able to make those plays there. He missed it. The rest of the defensive line, I don't even think I heard another edge rusher's name mentioned in this one. The interior did all right. Aleem and Benito did fine against the running parts. They were able to make plays, but just all along the show, it seems to be the same mistakes we're making. Receivers they had the freedom of Foxborough to make catches. Why are we not in tighter coverage? Why are they so open when our receivers are seemingly blocked down in chains? Just everything did not go right in this one. And I don't know. When a sixth round rookie is making a mockery of you, and Ramondre Stevenson, he's okay, but this was a guy who went late in the draft last year. He's not a world-class, world-beating running back. This will be his best game by a long chalk, and he has absolutely wrecked us. You can't allow this to happen. 2 late-round draft picks making us, a supposedly professional football team, looking incompetent. And I just don't know where you go from here. Are the personnel changes? It's not personnel. Is it scheme? Is it? I know it doesn't help when you have a boatload of injuries, and 5 DBs injured in the game doesn't help. But all these guys have made it.
That goes
all these guys have, yeah.
That
These
goes
guys
to
have made it so
Melifonwu,
NFL
comes
roster.
in, one play injured out. I don't know. It's just the injuries are really annoying. Smash that like button if you haven't done so. Let's get to 20 likes. This is hard to do a post-game show when a game like that has occurred. So if you can smash that like button, that would be fantastic. Herm will get on when he get on, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Let's talk about Jared Goff. He threw that pick to double coverage right in the beginning of the game. That was a bad throw, and he didn't look that great in this game, Matt.
The pick was awful. Like he pumped in that direction and decided not to throw that ball because it was a bad throw. And then he took another second, he'd already telegraphed that he was thinking about going there. And then he went there. It's like, if you were going to go, just go. Throw it on the first attempt, it probably goes incomplete. But by double clutching and then going for it, it's not good. And then you have a look at the rest of the throws in this game. He was under pressure a lot. Our offensive line did him no favors in this game, but that should not detract from the fact that Goff made bad decisions at the line. And when he was going to throw, that wasn't the first time he threw into double coverage. There were a couple of other opportunities to pick him off that weren't, made by New England. This could have been worse for us because of what Goff did today.
And I got to say this. I was so mad hearing from the sideline reporter that when they asked, it was coming out of the second half, and the sideline reporter says what Dan Campbell said. Well, Jared Goff can't be throwing her. This was after the going 4-on-4 a couple times, and it didn't convert. I was so mad because I'm tired of he blamed Jared Goff again. Look, Jared Goff didn't play good, but at some point you got to look at yourself too. Stop going 4-on-4 down every single time. And I don't know if you guys seen that part where they went to the reporter and they said, "Well, Jared Goff threw that pick." What do you think about Jared Goff though? Because he didn't play well at all, Ant-Man.
No, this was an off game for him today, and I think this is the nature of playing with Jared Goff. You are not going to get the Jared Goff that you got last week every single week. There are going to be games when he doesn't play well, and it just looked like it fell into sync today. I mean, it's tough. I feel like his offensive line sold him down the river a lot. I feel like they were terrible in pass protection today. Taylor Decker, I'm really starting to get concerned about. He has regressed massively this year, and he was just made to look a fool of by Matt Judon today. And, I think when the pressure gets to you, Goff doesn't stand up really well to it. I think he starts making the wrong choices. He starts overcomplicating things, and the passes just don't look so smooth. So sure, we've never been in that sort of situation this year. There's been games when we've been behind a little, but never, under just so much pressure. The Patriots just were able to send pressure all game. We're never able to get to second and short, third and short, put ourselves in. It's what we were saying on the preview show last week. We want to beat the Patriots. You've got to take that pass rush out of it on the defense. And we didn't. We put ourselves in situations where the pass rush could thrive. And Goff was not able to deal with it. And I say the early pick does not help. And then I think the strip sack, I'm kind of not putting that on him. Penne got beaten so easily on that, and when he's a guy behind him, it's difficult to know when the pressure's right behind you in that situation. But
That to me
it's a
was the
frustrating
pinnacle.
day for him.
The strip sack on 4th and 9, fumble for a 6, was a Detroit Lions play through and through. Like, I just started laughing. I said, how, like, why are we, like, going, I don't understand it. There's so many negatives. The defensive line is terrible right now, Matt. It's terrible.
I mean, I don't know where to go with this. I mean, so I think Ant kind of hit the nail on the head here, and I was kind of saying it to you before we went live, that the interior did a fine job. So McNeil had a few stuffs. Benito had a stuff. Buggs had the sack that was chalked off by Barnes with the holding the receiver downfield, and it's like, okay, fine. The interior's not great, but it's doing stuff. Now, there were several runs of 10 yards going, between the tackles somewhere. So the interior didn't have a great day, but when the running back goes for 160, you think that your O-line's been D-line's been absolutely destroyed. I don't think that was the case for the majority of the game. I think that you have a look at the stats, and they absolutely killed us on the ground in the second half when the game had gone. They ran us to death. We finished before 4 o'clock. Like, that's how badly they ran us off the field in the second half. But the first half ended at a normal time. They just ran the clock out with huge drives where they just continued to get first downs. But there we go. Hutchinson didn't have a great game. Brian didn't have a great game. It was, as MicroMike would say, it was cheeks.
Like, I don't like the fact that every time who runs the football, it's 10-yard gain every single time. It's getting ridiculous, and that's linebackers and defensive line. There's no solving it, Ant-Man.
No, there's not. When you're missing 2 second-round picks off your line through injury, then it's going to cause these sort of issues for you. But we missed Charles Harris blatantly today. I know he's not had the greatest of seasons, but it just means you put more emphasis on Hutch. I didn't hear Julian's name mentioned once. I don't even know if he was playing. I mean, Austin did a little bit, but again, not great. These depth guys are not standing up to be counted. Those two are on the bubble and should be playing like, bat out of hell trying to save their jobs, and they're not. And then on the interior, like I said, the interior's doing an all right job in some parts. There were times they were getting tackles for loss and putting them in situations, and we just couldn't. We can't defend third downs to save our lives, and it's just infuriating how little pressure we seem to be getting. We had like 60 pressures after the first 2-3 weeks, and then it's just disappeared. There seems to be nothing anymore, and I think fingers need to be starting getting pointed. One of them is at that D-line coach, because he's got a lot of talent at his disposal, and they are getting rinsed on their one-on-ones. There seems to be no creativity to those plays and how you use those guys. And it's really tough. You can tell we're missing our injured players. Romeo, Charles, Pascal, Levi. It's showing. And I just don't know what you do from here. It feels like last year. It's just definition of insanity stuff. Just keep sending them time after time after time. Nothing happens. You don't get nothing. On the rare occasion you do, we seem to have a flag put off there. It's like we had a touchdown in this game. Flag, offensive pass interference. If you can't be the best team in the league, be the most disciplined. It levels the playing field. Today they were so undisciplined, it was unreal, and that is coaching all the way through. Yeah. It just doesn't seem like we've learned a lesson. I see the Bears nearly beating the Vikings, and like, oh well, we lost it. I see every team who is like us, supposedly, doing well in this league, putting up a fight, winning games they shouldn't do. What are we doing? Nothing. It is no different to what we happened last year, and we've taken no progression forward. And what I wanted to see this year, I wasn't asking much. No postseason, none of that. I just want to see us beat the teams around us. The players get better and show development as a team. It's so little to ask, and we're not even getting that. And I just don't know where you go at all.
I don't know where to go. You had your hand up, Matt.
It was just the comment that Ant made about saying it feels like last year. It doesn't feel like last year. It feels like 2020. It feels this game, just this game, not the previous games to this game, but just this game feels like every single game in the last year under Matt Patricia. If we have an entire season of these games, from here to the end of this season, heads need to roll. All of them. I don't think that will happen because we've seen the rest of this season and it's not been this bad. I don't expect it to be this bad. But if you start stacking games like this, you got to go. Sorry, this feels inevitable. This feels like it's going to be like this every week because how can we do better than that? Like, if you asked earlier, what's wrong? Is it scheme? Is it players? Is it what? It's all of it.
Yeah.
All of it's wrong.
Okay, so let's talk some coaches.
I don't have anything constructive to say on the point. It's just fucking awful. Sorry.
It is very awful. It is very awful. And it's tough on these streets being a Lions fan. It really is. It's tough. I don't know what else to say. It's terrible. Do you think that the coaches have lost the players, Ant-Man? Because that was asked by the Dern in the comment section.
No, I don't think they have, but I think the confidence is gone. For me, when they gave up that game against the Vikings, which we should have won, I think that did something to our confidence because, we just come off we got the Washington game, we got the win. I think there was a bit of belief about this team, but then to give up the Vikings game the way you did, you should have won that game, and you threw it away. And then the Seahawks come to town, and anyone would tell you they're a team who are not good at this moment in time. You're at home, you're playing them, and you get beaten by them, quite easily. Really, in the end, nearly 50 dropped on you. I think somewhere along the line, the belief went, and I think it's up to the coaches to make these players believe again. Because when this team is playing well, this team can win games. And this is why I get annoyed when people say, "Oh yeah, this year too, it should just be about player development. It shouldn't be about wins." This is what not being able to win games does to you. That's what that Minnesota Vikings game did to us. Not being able to win that game from a winning position, coming up with all those excuses. Look what it's done to the players. I think the players lost belief after that game. They lost from a winning position. It was a conference game. They could have made a real statement with that. They could have finally got themselves over the hump a little bit and shown real progress going forward, and they didn't. And the two games since then, I think, have reflected. Obviously, the offense was really good last week, but the defense just kind of lost its nerve. And then this week, the offense is just like, well, what the hell? What points last week and couldn't win a game? And I just think the confidence has gone. I don't think the coaches have lost the players. I think the confidence has gone, and they've got to find it again. They just, by hook or by crook, they have to make these players believe they can win games again. And this bye week it couldn't have been positioned better for us. Right now we need it.
I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of people making excuses. Well, it's okay. No, it's not. When you get a loss of 29-0, that's not acceptable. At some point, you have to show that you're a capable NFL team at some point. You can make adjustments. We are regressing. It's not progressing. It's regressing. There's no excuses. Well, there's injured players. Really, to not get 1 point? Really? Well, we didn't have this. I don't care. Every team has injuries. Yes, our injuries is pretty rough. But we're getting defeated on all fronts. Coaching decisions. Play calling is trash. Coaching decision is trash. It's just all around trash play. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's the excuses that is and then the Lions fans getting mad at us and not at the fan base. Well, you're being too negative. What do you want me to say? We just got beat 29-0. What do you want me to say? Well, we can come back. Really?
So the thing that really pissed me off today, I mean, there are things you can legislate. Where we're at the moment as a team, we're obviously not going to be the greatest team in the world, and you can accept a lack of talent in some areas. Today, there was no fight. No fight at all. We lost this game from snap one. Every single play, they wanted it more. Their edge rushers wanted it more than our offensive line. Their offensive line wanted it more than our defensive line. Their receivers wanted it more than our secondary did, and vice versa. Every single positional battle, pretty much, we lost today. And when Dan Campbell is there preaching grit and determination, we're going to fight harder, fight longer, fight stronger than you. We are going to be that team who does not go away. Well, I guess we didn't arrive, so we couldn't go away, but you see my point? I cannot accept no fight as, we should not accept that. We saw it under Patricia too many times, and Matt made a good point. He said this did feel like 2020. It did. This was worse than that Carolina Panthers game when we got blown out by PJ Walker. This was worse than that, and we consider that to be the pinnacle of the terribleness of what Matt Patricia was here. So when your team isn't even fighting, you're 4 weeks into a season, 5 weeks into a season right now, and your team is not fighting. That is a problem. That is a big goddamn problem. Doesn't matter about injuries. Doesn't matter about any of this. You're right, yes, Mike. The excuses for not fighting, that is the basest, most simple thing you can ask of your football team is to fight. They did not do that today, so no excuse will cover that.
Ooh, we got Herm. I cannot wait to hear what Herm. Herm.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about this game. Initial thoughts.
I just did not expect this team to be this flat. There's mounting concerns because of the injuries, and I'm really concerned about if there's something going on behind the scenes we're not aware of. Because I want to say, I don't know if it's me, but do you guys feel tension? Or it seems like there's something going on kind of behind the scenes that's not quite clicking between something inside. I don't know. I'm just looking at the body language of the players, the excitement that they have when they're at home versus now they go on the road against New England, and I just don't see that same confidence. I mean, this is the same team. These are the same players that everyone's been excited about since last year, and then coming to this year, just looking at the way they played and performed, and I saw no life in this team. And then how do you as a team, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later in the show, how do you as a team, you have to have special teams. You have to have a field goal kicker. You have to have the ability to score points when you have that field position. And you look at it and you become very concerned. I'm concerned. I wasn't at first, and now I just go, it's going to take a lot more than a bye week to turn this thing around.
Herm, I got to ask you a question. And do you think that players are starting to lose faith? I mean, you're consistently going for it on fourth down. You got to tell me that you have zero faith in your defense at all, or you're zero faith in your special teams? What do you think? Because this performance was atrocious. Do you think they're starting to lose faith?
I think they are. I'm very optimistic. I'm always trying to give you that silver lining when it comes to talking about Detroit Lions, and especially this coaching staff and the players. But there is something that is completely fallen out of the bottom of this team right now, and I don't know if there definitely seems to be a lack of confidence in the defense. All right, you just you don't go for it that many times on fourth down. You have no confidence in your kicking game. You've taken out your defense and special teams and scoring opportunities. And how do you expect to keep the energy of this team up? I mean, at some point, this is professional football. You got to defense has to stop people. Offense has to score points. Special teams needs to be able to contribute and do their part when asked upon, because they're not in the game all the game. So this is some things where it's going to test Dan Campbell and his staff. Not only him as a head coach. It's going to test what does this organization do, because we already know people are going to start asking about changes, not only in the defensive position, which we saw with Aaron Glenn, but they're going to start asking and start to question and start to buzz about whether or not Dan Campbell should finish the season and whether he would be the long-term solution. This was weeks ago. I mean, this is a volatile. I just wouldn't have thought this at this point. That's just my opinion.
Ant-Man got a question for her.
I don't know. Do you reckon you say something's gone wrong here? Do you reckon it maybe was that Vikings game they let slip? You know, when you are so close to winning, you kind of almost let that game slip from underneath you. Do you think that knocks the confidence to a point where they start to doubt their ability to be able to win games, to take that next step forward, or is it something that will be deeper than that?
I think it's you're right on point that let's go back. If you look at the Vikings game, yes, it was an opportunity for them to win that football game. There is a loss of players. You get some injuries. You had a running game that seemed to be really the confidence of the offense. That's now become, we get what we get. You got the players still playing hard, but it just doesn't seem to have the same effectiveness or the same purpose that it had before. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets injured. He comes back. You have a couple other injuries along the offense. And all of a sudden now the offense seems like it's now starting to have to get back on track. And this is the number one offense coming into this game. So to say that I don't know what's happening right now. I think there's some mental pieces that are taking place because they're putting way too much thought into this. But, I'm just going to go back to managing and strategy at this point. You got to know where your team is. You got to understand the mentality of this team. Everything matters. Confidence matters. Support matters. And if you're not leaning in on that, the concern I get is that they're going to start to